Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today we're diving into one of the most explosive political dramas currently rocking South Africa. It's the kind of story that mixes power, pride, old grudges, and a warning that sounds like something out of a gangster movie. And the central figure in this storm is none other than Gayton McKenzie, leader of the Patriotic Alliance and the country's current Minister of Sport, Arts and Culture. Now, if you've been following South African politics, you'll know that Gayton McKenzie doesn't exactly tiptoe around issues. He's outspoken, direct, and thrives on controversy. But his latest message to President Cyril Ramaphosa was more than just political banter. It was a full-blown warning. McKenzie told his supporters that if the president even thinks about removing him from cabinet because of claims of racism, then the consequences will be serious and unpredictable. In his own words, Ramaphosa would not know what is coming. Let's pause right there. That's not the kind of language you hear every day from a cabinet minister. Usually, politicians try to sugarcoat their disagreements, hide behind careful statements, and then leak their real frustrations through anonymous sources. Not McKenzie. He is saying it out loud, in front of crowds, and with the kind of energy that suggests he means business. The background to this drama is quite interesting. Old social media posts by McKenzie have resurfaced, posts which many people describe as offensive and racially insensitive. Opposition parties have jumped on this, demanding that he step down. Civil society groups have joined in, calling him unfit to serve as a cabinet minister. McKenzie has apologized, describing those posts as stupid things he said years ago. But of course, in politics, an apology doesn't necessarily make the storm go away. If anything, it sometimes makes the storm bigger because it keeps the issue in the headlines. Inside the ANC itself, there are divisions. Some senior members believe Ramaphosa should remove McKenzie to protect the integrity of government. Others argue that firing him could open an even bigger can of worms, particularly with the 2026 elections on the horizon. After all, the Patriotic Alliance has been gaining influence at local level, especially in coalition politics where every vote counts. The ANC might be hesitant to alienate McKenzie at a time when it needs smaller parties to stay on side. But McKenzie is not begging for sympathy. In fact, he seems to be turning the entire controversy into political fuel. He argues that the attacks against him are not about racism at all but about silencing his voice against corruption, the misuse of public funds, and the ongoing racial divisions that continue to poison South African politics. He has positioned himself as someone who speaks truth to power and doesn't care about titles or job security. According to him, if he is fired, he'll only become louder, freer, and more dangerous to the corrupt networks he claims to expose. That's quite a strategy. Political analysts believe McKenzie may be deliberately embracing this outsider image, presenting himself as the fearless man who takes on the establishment. And for many voters who feel ignored or betrayed by traditional parties, that kind of tough talk can be appealing. The Patriotic Alliance has already built a reputation for its no-nonsense style, especially in communities where people feel abandoned by government. But of course, this kind of posturing has risks. By openly threatening the president, McKenzie could be cornering Ramaphosa into making a decision he would rather avoid. The ANC leader has often tried to balance different factions and avoid open warfare within his alliances. Yet here he faces a minister basically daring him to act. If Ramaphosa removes him, he risks creating a political martyr who might draw more support from angry voters. If he keeps him, he risks alienating his own party members and sending a signal that offensive behavior is tolerated at the highest levels of government. This is why the presidency's silence on the issue is so fascinating. As of Monday, there's been no official statement. It looks like Ramaphosa is taking his time, maybe hoping the controversy will burn out on its own. But let's be honest, controversies like this rarely disappear quietly. They usually grow legs, and before you know it, they're running into the next election campaign. Now let's add a bit of humor here. Imagine Ramaphosa sitting in the union buildings, staring at his phone, scrolling through McKenzie's old posts, and thinking, hey, why did I appoint this man? Meanwhile, McKenzie is on a stage somewhere shouting, if they fire me, you don't even know what's coming. At this point, South African politics is starting to feel more like a telenovela than a parliamentary democracy. But behind the entertainment value, there's a serious issue at play. South Africa is heading into a difficult election cycle. The ANC is weaker than ever before, coalition politics are messy, and smaller parties like the Patriotic Alliance, the EFF, and the MK Party are positioning themselves as alternatives. McKenzie's tough talk is part of a bigger political shift where leaders are using anger, fear, and straight talk to connect with voters who are tired of polite speeches and empty promises. The danger, of course, is that this style of politics can inflame tensions. When a cabinet minister uses language that sounds like a threat, it raises questions about stability, respect for institutions, and the health of democracy itself. Critics say McKenzie is playing with fire, while supporters say he's simply refusing to bow down to the old order. So where does this leave us? For now, the ball is in Ramaphosa's court. He can either act decisively, which could escalate the situation, or he can keep delaying, which could make him look weak. Either way, this saga is not just about one man's offensive posts from years ago. It's about the future of coalition politics, the fragility of the ANC's leadership, and the rise of a new political style that thrives on confrontation and spectacle. What do you think? Should Ramaphosa fire McKenzie to uphold the dignity of his government? Or should he keep him to avoid creating a political martyr? Do you believe McKenzie is being targeted unfairly, or is this simply accountability catching up with him? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next big discussion. South African politics never sleeps, and this story is far from over. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.